Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero. Thanks for listening to The Tour Coach. These are the players, coaches, experts, stories, and insights from my work on the PGA Tour at my retreats or my downtown teaching center in Mobile, Alabama. My goal is to shed light and share insights from the people who I've gotten to know and meet working on the PGA Tour and teach it through my career. And I hope this helps all of us play, coach, and teach better golf. If you like what you hear, please give us a good review and take a look at our new Dew Sweepers YouTube channel or the Dew Sweeper on Instagram, where I've taken some time to share videos of help from my teachings, travels, and journeys. All right, so sitting here with new recording equipment, new edition of the Tour Coach. I hadn't had one in a few weeks. I've been on, I'd say, sabbatical. Got a good group here with us, though. I've had 2 off days since July 4th, and all I can think of is Key West next Thursday, which is about the time this will drop. So when this drops, I'll probably be in Captain Tony's, but hopefully with a buzz. All right, so not thinking of golf swings. So if you're listening, don't text anyone. We've got I'm kind of excited about this. We've got a good little group here tonight. We've Zoomed Jackson Koert in. We've got Mark Hackett here. I'm at Hack's house. Hack, thanks as always for hosting us here at the house, as well as at Old Palm. We had a great day. Emilio Gonzalez. Everybody's heard Emilio on the pod before, and getting ready down here, getting a little ready for Q School. We'll do a little talk about that while we do that and catch up with you. And then new to the Dew Sweeper clan, he's a golf teaching professional from Indiana, as well as a student in this week's retreat. He came down, got started a little bit. Callaghan Elzey.
Yep.
That's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, pretty good.
So we don't always have students on here like you, because we don't know what they'll say, right? Sure as hell wouldn't do it on a live one. But anyway, so first of all, we're going to ask you a couple questions, and you talk about it, and we'll go around. But one, why as a teacher, a young teacher, you've been out of school 2 years, you said, right?
2 years, yeah.
Went to Miami of Ohio.
Yep.
Why did you decide, one, to come observe? Made you want to do that? Why'd you pick us? And 3, why did you want to come observe and work on your game? Because I think it's interesting. Hack, we've done a bunch of these. Jackson, zooming in, we've done a bunch of these. Emilio, heck, you've been around 20 of these just hanging out working, right? We get people, a lot of juniors, a lot of college players, guys maybe wanting to play, and a lot of weekend warriors wanting to get better, but sure, not necessarily somebody that teaches wanting to come. And I think it's commendable, for one, because most teachers would think they know enough.
Yeah. That's for sure. I've found you guys through this podcast that we're on, so kind of an interesting moment for me. I've spent so much time listening, so it's now...
We'll do a photo.
Now I'm on it, which is cool. But I've heard so many good things about you guys, especially, obviously you, Tony. But, I've never seen anyone really teach before. I've just what I'm teaching right now is just things that I've learned from playing the game. So I wanted to go to the source and figure out what you guys are doing and try to mix it in and take something that I can learn from you guys and bring it to my kids. So that's kind of why I came to observe. To come, as a player, I just was looking for someone that was, A, going to be able to give me something that was, A, I felt like was useful, and B, just from listening to you guys talk, you seem super casual and people that I want to be hanging around, so, it seemed
you've rolled this golf lesson
I've rolled it
into
all the
tacos,
way into dinner,
tacos and a Bud Light.
Yeah.
I think you're doing pretty good.
Well, you guys just seem even from just listening to podcasts, you guys seem like very easy people to get along with and people that I think I'd mix well with. So,
well, hopefully we helped you game some.
100%.
I'm gonna kick this to Hack. So something that Callahan said earlier was he said that he reached out to bunches of teachers and he didn't get hardly any responses ever. And people wouldn't let him, or not necessarily wouldn't let him come observe, but didn't, facilitate it. I find that 2 things. I find that, one, ridiculous, because you and I know in particular of the folks sitting at the state of the
pay forward,
right? And when we were coming up, you give your, but like Hank Johnson's, the Tom Nesses, Mark Wood, all those folks, were so kind. For me, Wayne Flint, Wayne, you were contemporaries, but it's shocking to me that in our industry now where people do that. And heck, we had one that came and spent time with us and started trying to have a sign up for people to, you're going charging people to observe. I think that stuff's crazy. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. I mean, we get to the point where we learn from people, so you got to pay forward.
Sure.
You got to keep growing. That's the problem is we have fewer people playing the game, so having more ammunition and getting people involved, and go and observing people. You're going to teach people different ways of saying the same thing or different ways of getting people better. That's our goals. Entertainment, but improve people's skill set in the sense.
And I think one of the things, and I want to ask your comment on it, is obviously I know I do, and Hack still does, Jackson and Zoom has to as well, teach private lessons one-on-one, right? It's just part of our business. But when we get these weekends, to me, it's the most fun teaching I do all year. I do it a lot now, but where we all kind of hang out and teach together. Because it's just, to me, that's like observing. Like, I love being able to say, having a swing catalyst pulled up and, Hack, what did you see there? Do you think I'm on the right track? Or Jackson, whatever, and it was even interesting today, like having a player like Emilio sitting there and, chime in and stuff. What did you think about, what were your thoughts? Had you ever seen anything like that? Did you like it? Was it beneficial as a teacher and as a student?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, having 3 brains that know a lot about the golf swing, 4 brains with a great player.
Don't cut Jackson down.
Yeah. No. It was cool. I mean, I've never seen that before, never been in that environment, but in the beginning I was like, this is pretty, in the beginning I was like, there's 4 very respectful people watching me hit golf balls, so once I got past the first 2 or 3, I felt pretty comfortable, but after that, it was awesome. It was having 4 brains that knew a lot about the game, a lot about the golf swing there, giving me their opinions and giving me their feedback, a lot of it which was positive, which was very nice, but no, it was so much fun. It was, it feels like teamwork, which was something that I'm not familiar with in golf instruction. It's always been one-on-one, one guy saying one thing, and you either like it or you don't. But with 4 guys there, and there was a lot of things that were bounced off each other, ideas. I had Jackson through Zoom give me some good feedback. I had Tony telling me to do a bunch of things that I really agreed with, and then Mark and Emilio over there to kind of confirm it. So it was felt like everyone really cared about me in that situation, which was cool. So I loved it.
It's awesome too for him to be able to experience the coaching and also get work on his own game. I think that's a great way to learn.
And that's kind of what I was going for. I wanted to learn as much as I could, but I figured the best way for me to learn would be through getting a lesson myself,
which is awesome.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things.
And you got tacos.
And I got tacos. Yeah. So and some churros, which were even just as good or even better.
Let me tell you though, I love Rocco's tacos, but you can't get the brownie. Ice cream sundae brownie.
Or hard shell tacos.
Apparently, I learned tonight too, for all of those listening. Emilio Gonzalez sat next to me at a Mexican restaurant and got mad when I ordered the hard shell tacos. I had no clue. Hack, did you know that hard shell tacos were not Mexican?
It's a life lesson.
I would not have known that either. And if I can go back a second, so you asked initially why I came to observe. So I listened to you on this podcast. I listened to you say something about Hank Johnson said a long time ago to you that the reason why you're going to be a good teacher is because you think that you know nothing. And I took that to heart. I was like, holy crap. If Tony didn't know anything, then I definitely don't. Doesn't feel that way. And I'm in lessons where I see something and I'm like, I have no idea what to do here. So
me too today when you were on the plate. Why you think I called Jackson over from Zoom and I had Hack come in? Hack came in with the phone, Jackson zooming in.
It didn't seem that way. You sold it pretty good. I can feel like I can always get better. I'm young. I'm 25, just turned 25, and I have a lot to learn. And going to the source and seeing what you guys can. You guys have a lot of knowledge and a lot of things that I'm sure I can learn from you. So that's why I came to observe.
It was cool for me because we've had a lot of people recently want to observe, which anybody listen, we're always open. I think that's our duty. Don't want you to observe and then try to jump in and tell us what to do. But I like,
and shout out to him too for being willing
to do it.
Also to pay to do it too.
Of course.
And we did give you the professional discount and the tacos.
And I very much appreciate all that.
Oh, the tacos are getting tagged on the bill. Though.
I really will, yeah.
It's nice to have that effort. I know it's a small token, but that means a lot for sure.
I appreciate it.
I'm not the one that paid for dinner, so.
Emilio, what did you think about today? I want to hear from a professional tour player.
It was fun. I got to work in my own game with you and Jackson and Hack for some time, which was via Zoom for some time, which was very productive for me. And yeah, just meeting a new dew sweeper too, which was fun too. And
so let's talk about Emilio. So getting ready for Q school was, in my opinion, the backswing was the best it's ever been, because he's been doing the same dang thing for almost a year, 6, 7, 8 months at least.
Yeah.
The value of staying on something, and we didn't. To me, it was great because we didn't do anything new, other than I did ask him to learn to release his eyes a little bit sooner so that you wouldn't cut off your pivot a little bit. But man, I think that's a good lesson for everybody listening, though, is you get these people, Hack, that come and they want to play in their club championship or they're playing or whatever, and they want you to give them something new.
Sure.
That's to me not how people get better. It's more about knowing what you're working on. I think one of the best things we did today was your practice plan, Emilio.
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to just write down in my notes what I'm gonna do day in and day out from now till the end of Q school. Just for more than anything to not overwork, because I tend to spend too much time in the golf course sometimes, and just stick to my plan. And once I'm done, I'm just ready to go home and rest.
And so talk about the practice plan. I thought this was good. And Hack, I think you'd like this. I know Jackson, tell him what you practice, because he likes to over practice, but I think you need to be more hyper focused and do less, right? So we did 3 20-ball.
It was a 3 20-ball count. Well, it was
3 piles of 20 balls.
Yeah, 3 piles of 20 balls. One was specifically just for my backswing drill. The next one was just for my follow through, just feeling slow motions of my chest and my head going through.
Third one was the stick.
Yeah, and the third one was just throwing the stick down in front of me and just shaping it right to left and then left to right, just so I can have both shots in the bag ready to go. And then
he did 30 balls, so it's a 90-ball practice. Then the last 30 you did, it was hitting a different club and at a different target every shot.
Awesome.
And then putting boundaries where, if he was hitting a draw into the tree, he couldn't cross the tree on the left, right? Learning to control your curve and where you're trying to leave it. And I told him, I think that if everybody did that, you were specific and structured when you went to practice, granted, though, that's probably going to still take you an hour and a half, right? If you take your time and you do that and you set this up, it's going to take time. But if you just did that and you went and hit 90 balls, and we see folks on the range, how many times, Hack, you at Old Palm see folks just wailing ball after ball, and they hadn't gotten any better?
Keep dragging across, right?
It's exhausting, too. It just takes especially in weather like this, you don't even know what you're doing after hitting 100 balls probably in 30 minutes when you're just hitting one after another. But yeah, I'm just going to point out, whenever I'm not able to work with you, Tony, I go to Jackson since it's just easy for me. And every single time we finish practice, we do a distance control, just shot selection. And it's got to just fortunately have the TrackMan there, but we only use it for that to see how far the ball's flying. And yeah, it's just got to fly in between a 3-yard dispersion, and that's how we move on.
Yeah, how many balls when you do that? Because you mentioned today you do that at home or in your practice.
Me and Jackson, he'll throw a number at me, let's say 166, and he's gonna make me hit it with a 9-iron, an 8-iron, or a 7-iron even.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. Good work there, Jack.
That's awesome.
It's easy when he's that good.
Right.
I see that number.
And to piggyback on that, another reason why I came here is funny because that was the initial question. I keep going back, but I've been playing good all summer. I've played in a couple tournaments, played better than I have over years past, so I feel like I'm improving. But I'd go to the range and I'd hit balls and I'd sit there and I'd hit maybe 10 or 12 and maybe I'd hit a couple on the heel. I wasn't really sure why, and so maybe I'd try this, and then maybe I'd try that, and then I'd hit a couple more, and then I'd try this, and all of a sudden I'd realize I'm going down this rabbit hole that I had no business going down.
Right.
And so it was but I didn't have any instruction. I've been self-teaching. I've been teaching myself for the last year, so it's I really didn't have anyone to bounce ideas off of or get any sort of direction from. So I would just sit there on the range and it would get worse every time I went to the range. So initially I just decided, I was okay, well, I'm either going to go get a lesson and get pointed in the right direction so I know what I should be working on, or B, I'm just going to never touch the range again. Because when I come here, I get worse. I play way much better on the courts because I'm not thinking about all these things about maybe I should try this.
Yeah. Greg Carton would love that. I mean, if Doc was here, aside from drinking wine with me, he would be all over that, right? I mean, that's such a Doc deal.
I just started working with a young player, really good, and he started talking about how the hardest shot for him to hit was a straight shot on the range, and he doesn't hit them. So I hit a couple to get loose. I hit my shot shapes. I do distance control work, and I have to leave because you can't stand on a range and hit a flat shot with a full swing at a target dead straight. So that's the hardest shot for him to hit.
Yeah.
Right? And I think if you have this plan, or maybe you have something in place after working with Tony, I've got these one or two things, like the same thing he's doing with Emilio.
Well, I think the beauty of...
And you go and you do that.
So, but the beauty to me of what Emilio, with his practice, is that the first 3 piles of 20, you don't give a where the ball goes. All you care about is what you're doing. And I told Emilio this today. When I first opened the building in Mobile, I did it strictly to have a place to teach, right? I needed a place. And I'm like, I like a kid going to college. Every 4 years I move on or get fired from a place. So it's like the same deal. Like I got to go. Right? So, I did like JUCO at Frederica, right? I was like a 2-year grad transfer. But when I opened the building, I was like, so I got these bays and you've got the simulator, and it was an unintended consequence, but like people started getting better faster because you could turn the ball off. And all they cared about, all of a sudden, these people, especially like your 6, 8, 10, 15, 20 handicappers, when they didn't hit a bad shot and have to pretend and act like they're not used to hitting those to you, right? Like I never hit a bad shot. I can't believe that ball's going over there, whatever. But all they cared about was what was in the screen, whether they were doing better at what I was telling them or not. And there's no consequence how much better they got.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And I had a couple mid-upper handicaps that I still enjoyed. They were like, man, this really looked a lot better today. And once they kind of got into it, they actually never asked to see what the ball was doing, maybe until like 5-10 minutes left. And then I'd go, okay, well, here's where the ball
is actually
going, right?
Yeah. Interesting, yeah.
But I think that's interesting. So I think that what we did with Emilio today, and we're going to do some more. I want Hack to watch you do some of this. Like when you're doing those first 3 stacks, like you were way more concerned about like, hey, did that look like you wanted to? And I think when you take the focus off of the result and you're more just consumed and embroiled in the what you're trying to do, the result kind of happens. Sure. And then after you hit some clunky ones, I remember coming, you were like, I was a little heavy, it was a little toey, whatever. But then by the end, then when you put it together with the hit and the shot at it,
the sound,
the sound was primo.
Yeah.
So before Q school, what is one more thing you need to polish up with your game?
Honestly, just let myself be and play golf.
Awesome.
Injury-free, right?
Yeah.
Injury-free.
It's awesome.
It's good. What's the next thing for you in your golf game?
In my golf game, next thing for me, playing with the Pro Scratch at Sycamore in Indiana, and then in November I'm going to try to get some status in PGA Tour Latin America. So I've always said I want to travel and play, and I think it's...
You didn't tell us that this
I know, I got cut. I kind of forgot about that.
We charged
Argentina.
We charged touring players more.
That's double. I gave it away. But yeah, I always want to travel and play. I think it's the best thing I could do for the kids I'm trying to teach that want to do it. I think I want to go out and just get some experience on the road. And I mean, I think having the experience competing and having the experience, hitting a putt when it matters, I think is important. But I don't think it's necessarily the end-all be-all, but I think it won't hurt. So that's the goal and game. I think I have the game for it. I mean, I watched him. He's pretty dang good. Emilio was hitting some absolute nippers on the range there. But, yeah, I took some videos, so I'm going to go study those up. And
hell, we gave you all the...
Yeah, I know you did.
Tomorrow, though, Dr. Lynn comes in.
Yeah, so... But I just want to say thanks so much to all you guys for having me out. It's been so much fun.
It's fun. We got a lot more to do.
It's early, yeah.
What you want to talk about, Jackson?
What about the next step in your teaching career?
Yeah, that's a good... I have notes full of just so many things I learned today.
What was your favorite?
There we go.
My favorite thing that I learned today was probably the feelings I was able to create without a golf club in my hand. It was through the pivot and punch, through a lot of different things with the bands that I learned... because it felt very normal for me. It felt like something I felt like a distant memory or something like I feel like I can do. But when you get a club in your hand, you start thinking about different things and moving in different ways. It's like you kind of don't necessarily focus on the places that you should be focusing on. But when I was able to like take the club away, drop the club, and work on the things and the feelings I need to create when I'm in my golf swing, it was like.
I think that's the beauty of it, is because I always thought good players don't necessarily have thoughts that they play with, but they have feels. Like they know what their good feels like. Because I can remember.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
I remember I spent a bunch of time drinking beer also with Nolan Hankey. Did you ever meet Nolan? Mm-mm. So you know Nolan, right? Nolan, but I can always remember he'd come to Mobile and he was getting ready to play a little Champions Tour or whatever, struggle, and we were good buddies. But when you could get him hitting, if you got him to do something, he'd go, hold on, that's what it would feel like. Yeah, he would always say that, like that's what it used to feel like. And then you could back off and you could be quiet and leave him alone for 5-10 minutes because he would just keep trying to make it feel that way.
Yeah.
And I never got him playing as good as he needed to, but he could get in stretches practicing where it was just a thing of beauty because you could get him to get that feel. And I've thought many a time since doing all the stuff I do with Colby now, where we do stuff with bands and things where people can feel. I wish I would have had that to apply to somebody like Nolan, who was such a talented guy.
They do it to the extremes,
We ought to have Nolan on the podcast sometime. He'd be a beaut.
I think that's one of the things I've learned the most from you in the last couple of years is with the band stuff and Colby's stuff. It's funny you talk about feels. I have a guy in mind. He's hitting it a little bit better, and I ask him, what's it feel like? What's it feel like? What's it feel like? And I ask this to everybody, and he just keeps saying it feels good. And I'm like, I know it's good. It's in the middle of the face, and the ball's going straight, but like, what has actually changed? And he doesn't have a tangible feeling to go back to, which means I think you go to these band drills or these exercises, and that's what they can go back to tomorrow, which is a reflection on what Hanky was feeling.
It was awesome. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I have a question for you, Tony. So, like, if you're in a lesson and you tell someone, I want the left hand to, on the way up, I want it to feel like your left hand starts to hinge early, or whatever feel you're giving somebody, and then they start hitting it and they're hitting it well, and then you ask them, what does that feel like? And they have something that's totally different. Like, I'm sure you've had that before, where it's like, feels like my something else.
So it's happened.
Yeah.
And I got a great answer. So Greg Hart and Doc was with me one time. And then we were at the Country Club of Mobile, and I used to have this little tent. You got the big tent at Old Palm, but I had this little 10 by 10 like rolling thing with a canopy that we called the original dome. It was the original dome, and Colby and I were in it. And I had a kid, and Greg was with me, and we had a guy and turning, and he hits a couple. I'm like, what's that feel like? And I was trying to get him to get his elbow more. Whatever. And the guy says something that's completely, it doesn't have anything to do with anything I've said. And I go, well, no. And Doc, I mean, he doesn't ever speak up. He goes, now wait, shut up. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, well, you don't know what it feels like. He's like, if it feels like to him he's eating sausage pizza, it feels like he's eating sausage pizza, right? Because that's what it feels like to him, right?
Relative.
Right? Exactly,
not right or wrong.
And he was like, you got to quit wanting people to make it feel like what you think. Yeah. And I was like, I would never forgot that. Like, so I ask people all the time, what's that feel like? And I mean, it's interesting somehow. I don't see that. And then there'll be people in you, I don't get that. Okay.
Sure.
But they'll be like, all right, well, make it feel like sausage pizza one more time. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Okay, it's sausage pizza.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but that's interesting.
See, that's one of the things that I've learned over the last couple of months is like, the player in front of you's feel is way more important than the words that you're giving them. And whatever you give them, they might feel something in a different place or in a different way, but I mean, they have the answers. So that's why I asked. It's interesting. It's actually very, very funny to think about, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the art of coaching, right? I think we all have a lot of the same information, but I think that's the art of getting better.
Sure.
Form follows function, right?
Mm-hmm. He always has the good ones.
He does.
That was pretty good.
Father Hackett.
We're going to call you Father Hackett.
What do you think separates a great coach from a good coach? What do you think the difference is?
Hack, you start with that one.
You got to have a passion first. You be a good communicator.
Sure. And that's one thing I noticed with all you guys. I mean, you guys from the very beginning made me feel so comfortable, and we're like, it was like when I first pulled up and I met you halfway to the range, it was like we've been friends for 10 years. It was like you we just vibed really well. I feel like, you were communicating with me and made me feel like I was just a buddy of yours. And
I think that, I think the first thing is, I think you got to be yourself too, right?
For sure.
I think there's been guys I've known, and there's been people that are huge influences on me that were brilliant on the golf swing, and I would bounce things off of all the time. But I don't know that they were very good coaches, right? Like their knowledge and they analyze something to give it to tell you what was wrong was great, but were they necessarily great at getting somebody to do it right? I think there's coaches out there that are brilliant X's and O's guys, and maybe they don't get guys to play their best. And there's guys that are pretty good X's and O's guys, but have unbelievable people skills, motivational skills, understand how to push the right buttons, understand how to coach, understand how to drive people to get way more out of their people.
Sure. And when to teach and when to coach.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
This is some overteaching is brutal.
Yeah. And when I first started, it was like I wanted to throw the medicine cabinet at people. Mm-hmm. Just give them everything I had. And I realized quickly, it was like, that is just way too much for people to even.
Like HJ, I always tell these stories when I'm having wine and I'm doing these, but I remember he watched, and you asked me, like, when was the most nervous I've been watching? The most nervous I've been in 10 years was when Jay Haas watched me teach Bill Haas, right? You remember that, right? And, was the most nervous I can remember, right? And here's a guy that in my opinion should be in the Hall of Fame, but great player, gentleman, watching his son, me teach his son, whatever. And so I was really nervous there. But like I remember Hank, whenever he would watch when I was starting, my first job with him, you're always fumbling around. I dropped the camera and stuff like that. But I remember one time I'm really trying to impress him, and I got this lady from Louisiana, and I'm telling her everything I know. Yeah. And he just stood back, never said a word. He just kind of, he said just drift off. He'd go walk off, do something, whatever. He'd come back, kind of watch, and he'd walk on. And then he came back, and he was like, T, called me to the back, and I think he's going to tell me. I'm like, what do you think? And he said, taking a lesson from you, it's like taking a sip of water from my fire hydrant. Yeah. And he said, you don't have to tell her everything you know about the golf swing in the first 10 minutes.
Mm. I've been there. Because in the beginning, it feels like you have to almost sway them with.
Well, because he said something too. He said something early, when you start teaching, you feel like, whatever it is you're charging, $50 an hour, $80 an hour. I remember when I charged like $55 or $60. That was a lot of money per hour for what I thought, right? Yeah. So you want to prove that you're worth 100%. That money, and you think in the beginning that to earn that money, you got to give them a lot of information. Yeah. But really, all you got to do to earn the money is get them better. Yeah. And it's whatever you need to get them better. You've been under some of the greatest of all time. How much info did they really give out? And there'll be people that say you got to give a lot of info, but I don't think you have to. I think you got to make them better. Mm-hmm.
You get to train your eye. Yeah. What to pick out. It's all cause and effect. And
how'd you train your eye? Because you got a great eye.
No, just giving, doing golf schools. Mm-hmm. Like most people, we were doing 72 golfers a week. You figure if you're on a lesson, you're doing 8 hours. It's a lot of golf. Especially with like 30 instructors, you just learn. Yeah. And you learn so much as a group setting. That's what, look, all professional sports, there's multiple coaches, like in soccer, football, baseball. Right. Yeah. It's all knowledge. Knowledge is power,
I think that's why we touched on it with the group stuff, and you can't do it every day all the time. But I think that's why we've had some success and it's been fun, is all of us kind of hanging out. And it's a little bit more like what they do with other sports. And
sure. That's why Belichick's so good. He makes his coaches start in special teams on defense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're so groomed to.
Like brainstorming at that point.
I think you got to operate. You got to operate where people stay in their lanes, and I think you have to have kind of common belief systems. Like, I don't want somebody that's going to tell you to tilt and throw the club at it, right?
Back to the good or great question. And I'm not saying this because I'm great, because especially sitting next to these two guys, I know nothing. Yeah. But I love the Kobe quote on Instagram and stuff, now that he's passed, and about, obviously he was great. Yeah. And how into the process and the little things and the fundamentals he was. Mm-hmm. And he always talks about how, like, That's the journey. That's the passion, is doing those things. And then the moments of success you have, that's not what it's about. And I think for me, what I've learned this year is to become better, it's about those moments coaching. Like, it's having everything set up so that when a person walks into the building, they don't have to ask for a water, a towel, teas, video, like nothing.
Yeah.
Right, and they have a good experience. And I could give 2 golf lessons with the same information. One's a good product and one's a bad product, and I know who's coming back.
Yeah.
And that's solely from those little things that take time and they're annoying. But
sure,
Tony made dang well sure that I did it every time with every person that's in front of me, because it doesn't matter if you have a good player in front of you or Mrs. Haverkamp that can't get it airborne.
Sure.
Because if she gets it airborne and has a good time and goes and tells her friends, you're going to have 5 more coming next week, and that's, I think, part of becoming great.
Yeah,
that would be. You got to make people, the person in front of you, better. And I think great teachers can teach people of all levels and reach people of all levels. I think that's a quality in it.
Sure.
And I think that to be considered great or the best or whatever, you should at some point have actually taught somebody to be good.
For sure. From the bottom, from early on.
Yeah, you got to shadow people.
Yeah.
You can't do it by reading the books. You got to be in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. I'm early on the shadow train. But I mean, I've learned so much here that I think I can. I don't know. I don't have all the answers yet, but I have more than I did last week.
Yeah. So you got to be open-minded, and you got to be.
Yeah.
Don't ever stop learning.
Sure. Yeah. I love it too. I mean, everything.
Learn to listen, but listen first, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed it.
Well, good evening, guys. This was good. We're back. Tour coach is back rolling. We've got a couple more coming out of this weekend. Jackson, thanks for zooming in. Hack, thanks for hosting at your house here. Callahan, thanks for coming down and working with us and observing, but more importantly, working with us and hanging out. Emilio, this is the year, bud. It looks beautiful. We'll have us another good day tomorrow. Get you ready. You got playing a little match play over in Mexico, correct?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, there we go.
Guy's been a world traveler.
Oh my gosh.
Been all over the place.
World traveler.
I can't keep up with Emilio. Somebody told me he was in San Antonio. I was like, man, I thought he was in Brazil. Argentina. Don't cry for me. All right, thanks, guys. Awesome night. Let's get ready. We'll do it tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Tour Coach. I want to take a minute and thank Cordy Walker and Golf Science Lab, as well as my sponsors Shrixon, Buick, Bushnell, and Vineyard Vines for helping make all of this possible and helping me share my insights with you. If you like what you've heard, why don't you check out more on the Dew Sweepers channel on YouTube, as well as the Dew Sweeper on Instagram, or go to dewsweepersgolf.com to find out more about my teaching, my travels, and where you can find out more about me.